15, 14.
What is it?
16.
21.
Ayun, sana nang pala na.
It's your turn.
13. Well, guys, for those who don't know, I'm 18 years old. I grew up in East LA, East Los Angeles. Do you guys know what that is? Yes, the east of it. For those who don't know, East Los Angeles is known to be it's a place where you see a lot of poverty, you see a lot of gang, you see a lot of pain. So growing up, my testimony starts growing up. I was bullied. In elementary school, I was bullied. I was very tall. I was taller. You know, they say Mexicans are not supposed to be tall, but I was. So I was very tall and skinny, and I was picked on to the point where a couple of kids, they jumped me. They stole my shoes, and they stole my jacket, my backpack, and they slammed my head into the pavement. So I don't know if you can tell, but as I'm talking, I have a fake tooth. So I was bullied, and so my grandpa decided to put me in boxing because he was a boxer in Mexico, and he decided to put me in boxing, and I started loving fighting. I love the feeling of that it gave you, the rush, and I started getting pretty good. I was at this time I was around 8 or 9, and I was going around fighting people that were older than me, 15-year-olds. I was very tall, and I was winning. I was winning a lot. I ended up entering a tournament and became second place. So I went to Griffith Middle School. It's off of Van Nick and it's First Street. That school is not known to be just like how movies predict how schools are in East LA. You know, these kids, you know, cholitos are just coming out of it. I was walking to school, and these cholitos hit me up, and you know, I was only 11. No, I was 10 at the time, so I didn't know. I thought it would be cool, you know, as we all do. We look to feel cool. We look to fit in, and I was tired of getting bullied, you know. So I started hanging around with the wrong kind of kids. I started at the age of 10. I was already practically in a gang. It was tough to live a double world because at the same time I was also going to church. I grew up in the church. I grew up as a Christian. My mom was a diehard Catholic. I was baptized as a Catholic, and then I guess a co-worker of hers invited her to church, and she became Christian. It was hard because they were always working. So if you ever ask, oh, where were your parents? They were working. Why? Because that's how Mexicans lived back then. Your parents would work from 5 in the morning. I went until 8 at night. And who raised me? My grandma. My grandma, to this day, I would call her mom because she raised me, and you know. So going to school, I lived a double life, you know. I lived as a Christian. I would come to church Sunday nights, Wednesday nights. That's when our services were. I would, you know, go to church, you know, do things. But I wasn't into it. I was just probably like most of you right now, would just come because your mom told you to come, or, you know, or just your friends. Your friends are here, and that's why I went. Then in school, I was cussing, fighting. I never did drugs, but my dad was an alcoholic. he used to beat me and my mom up. So I started drinking. At the age of 11, I became an alcoholic. I was drinking a lot, going to parties. I witnessed a lot of things that an 11-year-old shouldn't. So the story starts at the age of 11. I was coming home from a party. I was drunk, and my best friend, his name was Jesus, but I called him Checo. He was I knew him since kindergarten. I mean, most of you have friends that you know for a long time. I knew him since kindergarten. We grew up together. I used to always go to his house. You know, his mom used to make me food. And, you know, that night we're coming around the corner. We're by my school, and you know we're just talking. He wasn't a cholo or anything. He was a good kid. He was a very good kid. He got straight A's. You know, he was a really good basketball player. Honestly, he would have probably made it to the NBA. He was so good. You know, he listened to his mom, and I was jealous. I looked up to him. I was like, you know, he was only like 1 year older than me. He was 12 at the time, and I loved him like a brother. You know. That night we're coming around the corner, and a car pulls up. Next thing you know, he's dead on the floor, all bloody. Apparently, they were aiming for me because I was the cholo. I was the one in the gang, and they got him. And to this day, I miss him. It was really hard seeing his mom. It was really hard being at the funeral because I blamed myself. I blamed myself. Why wasn't it me? He didn't deserve to die. I was the one being a liar. I was the one stealing. I was the one in a gang. He was a good kid. He didn't deserve to die. 12 years old. Life cut short. You know? So, you know, you would think that someone would learn, but no, I stayed in the gang, and almost a year later, I ended up going to juvenile hall. I spent juvie for murder. You know, things happen in a gang. They're not your friends, because when it comes to it, to save themselves, they'll give your name out. The way Judas treated Jesus is the way they'll treat you. To save themselves, because we're all human, we're selfish. They'll give your name out. They'll give your name out like this, and that's what they did. Ended up spending 9 months in juvie, in the murder sector. There's an 11-year-old in there who killed his mom. You know, it was crazy. People were tatted. It was tough. No one called me. My mom, my dad didn't visit me. My dad told me, if you ever get into trouble, don't expect me to come. And I was just a typical Mexican father that he was. But my grandma used to call me. My grandma used to come visit me. You know, those times were tough. So I ended up getting released. Apparently they said there was lack of evidence towards my case. And I honestly don't believe that. I honestly think God brought me out. The same way God brought Peter and Paul out of jail is the way they brought me out. You know, because as soon as after that, I was walking down the streets. And when you try to get out of the game, they'll be looking for you on the street. So the guys came up, and I had a gun to my head saying they're ready to kill me. A cop pulls up, and they run off, and there's a little foot chase. They have me detained, and they're asking me questions. And this officer You know, at that time, you know, you had to act cool. I mean, cops weren't respected. You know, they're known over there as the puercos. You know, you looked at them like you beat up Mexicans. You know, one cop killed my uncle, so I didn't have respect. The cop looked at me. He's like, "You're young. You're 11. You're 11. What are you doing around these streets? What are you doing with these kids? You know, I have a son just like you." He's like, "Where are your parents?" And I told him they don't care about me. They're working. You know, my dad gave up on me. And he was like, "Have you ever heard of a man called Jesus?" And I was like, you know, I mumbled because I started crying. I said, "Yeah, I used to go to church." And he's like, "You know that person right there, he's your true father. He's your heavenly father. And yeah, your parents may not be perfect, but he is." And I started crying. He's like, "Look, I'm gonna let you out with a warning. I'm gonna write some paperwork down, go to my office, and I'm gonna misplace them. If I, as long as I don't see you on the streets again, those papers will never be found." I was on probation, so I was really scared. I didn't want to go back to juvie. And he gave me an invitation. The invitation he gave me was the same church that I went to growing up. Same church, Calvary Chapel Montebello. He's like, "Pancho Juarez, he grew up in the same parts as you." So I ended up going back to church. I went on a retreat with our youth group, and I ended up accepting the Lord. I ended up coming to Jesus. I've never cried. My dad used to hit me, and he told me, "Si llores, te voy a pegar más recio." And so he taught me, "Hombre, no lloren." And he used to give me this look, so I never cried. That night, I cried for the first time. I cried like a baby. I was just sobbing, you know, the memories of my best friend coming back. It was tough. So after that, I ended up going to high school. I ended up leaving East LA and going to Pico Rivera. I went to high school named El Rancho. And I joined basketball. You know, life was going good. You know, I met friends. They had a Dance for Christ club there, so I started attending. And then, of course, the chicas come, the rucas. You know, I ended up getting girls are, no offense, girls have a way of messing you up. I ended up dating a lot of girls because apparently if you're a jock, then you have that kind of smell or something. They like just like girls like sweat. I don't know. So I started dating a lot of girls. Sooner or later, I started doing stuff with those girls. You know, I ended up giving myself away to these girls. But most of all, I gave myself away to the devil, because that's what the devil wanted. As soon as I started going to church, he made me at that time he was winning, and I was in a deep depression. Memories. I met this girl, you know, I thought it was a teen in love, and you know, she broke my heart, you know, all this. Around that time, I got diagnosed with PTSD. If you guys don't know what that is,
post-traumatic stress disorder,
which is usually diagnosed with soldiers when they come back from combat. I went to a psychologist, and apparently it was triggered when I was 11, when that incident with my best friend happened. So I would have constant flashbacks. And when those flashbacks would happen, I used to cut myself because it was too hard. So it was hard for myself. I used to hurt myself. And around that time, my parents were there. So my mom found the cuts on my arms. And she started crying. And she ended up calling the pastor, and it became a big old deal. At that time, I started crying too, and I was like you don't have to do that. And then she was crying. She thought she had to call the cops, and she started telling me like I have to send you to the psychiatric hospital. And I was just getting like okay, this is becoming a big old deal. I'll stop. And this was around my junior year in high school. Sophomore year was horrible. I literally went to school, did nothing. I just sat there in a desk in the back. I had a 0.5 GPA. The only class I passed was math. I mean, to earn a 0.5 GPA, I think that was harder than to get an A. I honestly think so, because it's harder to not do anything than it is to do all your work and just pass. So I remember I ran away from home. I took a bus to East LA, to the park I grew up in, and I had a gun. That night, I was ready to kill myself. I wanted to end it all. I was ready just to give up. But I kept having this urge. I felt something in my heart. I couldn't pull the trigger. And I was fighting with myself, and I was crying. And I wanted to do it. I was ready to do it, but I couldn't. I literally felt God tugging at my heart. I literally felt someone saying, "Don't do it." I don't know. To me, God has this soothing voice, and for some reason, in my head, He calls me Mijo. I mean, God. People say that God speaks to you in all different languages. So to me, I feel like I hear Him calling me Mijo. So I had this voice in my head, and I literally heard Him, "Stop running." I heard those exact words, "Stop running." And after that, I was at peace. El paz de Dios me entró. Words can't even explain. The flashbacks stopped. The thoughts stopped. I remember I had friends. After that, I never hung around with people my age. So I remember I had mentors. He's my neighbor. So I remember I used to just always text him and say, "Oh, let's go over," and I would text him, "Let's play 2K." But in reality, I didn't really want to play 2K. I just wanted someone to be there. I was alone. The day I came back to God was the best thing in my life. The best thing. Because the song that sings "Amazing Grace," how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I was lost and now I'm found. I felt that. I felt God's presence in me. I felt His peace. I felt His grace. All the things I've ever done in my life, it didn't matter. Because I knew He forgave me. I knew His forgiveness, His grace, His mercy on me was something much more incredible than anything in the whole world. Because I know that He died on the cross for me. He died on the cross for you guys. So you wouldn't have to suffer. You wouldn't have to suffer through the feelings of like, am I going to go to hell? Because in reality, if He didn't die, we would all went to hell. All of us. We're not all perfect. But the day He died, the day He went on the cross, He put all our sins and He put it on His body and He bled that blood so we wouldn't suffer. That's why we have a promise of eternal life. I'm 18 years old. I'm not that much older than you guys. I went through this at the age of 11, around the same age as you guys. They all started in middle school. I'm telling you this now, the reason I wanted to come here is I want to impact you guys' life. I want to tell you this message so you wouldn't say, oh, no one ever told me. Because I wish someone would have told me. I wish someone would have talked to me. I'm here to talk to you now and tell you guys that you guys aren't alone. If you guys are struggling with thoughts, if you guys are having struggles and hurting yourself, I want to let you know you're not alone. You may think so, and I'm going to tell you something. We're all human. You may think, oh, my best friend's not there for me. She's human. People are going to let you down, but there's one person that's not going to let you down. And He'll forever be by your side. Even if you say, oh, well, church isn't for me. I don't really believe in that. I believe in God, but I don't, it's a little too weird for me. And plus, most of the statistics show that most of the people don't want to go to church because they're guilty, because they're ashamed of what they did. That they're like, God wouldn't forgive someone like me. I've done so much. I was talking to a lady a couple of days ago. She had 4 abortions. She got pregnant at the age of 16. And she's like, I don't know if I could go to church. This was at work. And I was like, I believe in God, and I know He died on the cross for me, but this is too much. I killed an innocent baby. And I told her, you're not alone. I wanted to tell her that because I was like, you're not alone. I may not be the woman and I may not know what it's like to experience that, but I've been through pain. The day you went through when you went to the facility, I've been through that pain. I experienced loss and grief. But I told her, you know who also experienced that? Jesus. Jesus died on the cross and experienced that. And she was crying. We were on our break, so this all happened like in 30 minutes. And she was crying. I told her, go back to church. It's never too late. There's people who are 99 years old and they're dying in their deathbed. And people offer them, would you like to accept Jesus Christ? There's 99% that would say yes, but there's always that 1% that would say no, because their heart's too hardened. Don't let your hearts be hardened, guys. You guys are young. It's not an excuse, but yes, you guys are gonna mess up. You guys being here alone shows something. It shows that you guys are seeking, and that's good. But let's say you guys are struggling. Let's say you guys have thoughts. Let's say you guys are getting bullied. Let's say you guys, you have questions of, God and stuff. Because it's normal. It's normal for us kids to question it because the world teaches us to question it. There was a verse that when I came back to church, this was the first Bible verse. I walked in late, of course. I walked in late to church and I sat in the back. And my pastor was speaking. And the first verse I heard was Ephesians chapter 5, verse 8. For you were once in darkness, but now you are light in the Lord. Live as children of light, for the fruit of the light consists in all goodness and righteousness and truth. And find out what pleases the Lord. That spoke to me because I was in darkness. I was doing, evil stuff. I was doing, travesuras and just of different things. And I also felt guilty. Mainly because someone died because of my stupidity. Someone died because of my mistakes. And I blame myself. But the thing is, God doesn't want us to do that. God says, give me everything. Come at my cross and just lay it all out for me. Surrender. And I wasn't surrendering. And the minute I surrendered, I was at peace. You guys have... I'm looking at you guys' faces. You guys are all young. You guys are beautiful, beautiful young people. Right now, what's high is drugs. I've never done drugs, but I've heard people, stories of drugs. And right now, the industry, the marijuana industry, all the drug industries are aiming for you guys. Because you guys would take it like this. Why? Because you want to be cool. You want to try something new. They're aiming for you. The sex industry is aiming for you guys. It's a tough world out there. I remember when I would go to church, I would be driving to church, I felt this ugly feeling. And the minute I entered church, I felt at peace. It was like a war zone. You're battling through all this stuff. You see poverty, homelessness on the side. You see, girls trying to subject themselves to what the world believes them to do. Because women, girls, you guys the world tries to make you think that you should dress like this, be like this. Wear the shirts like this, wear the shorts like this. This is what makes you beautiful. But in reality, God blesses your body and wants you to conserve it. It's a tough subject because you guys are young, but marriage is the most beautiful thing that God has given you guys. You guys are a little young. I'm not saying go get married now. I'm saying just wait. Wait to have that love with your girlfriend or wife. Just wait. I regret not waiting. I wish I would have waited till my honeymoon so my first kiss could have been my wife. Because God created that for a reason. He created that so we could feel the love of marriage. So just wait, guys, because in middle school, there was a 12-year-old girl that was pregnant. 12 years old. It was crazy. I mean, in Mexico, when you go to Mexico, you see 16-year-old girls on the street selling their bodies. That's crazy. They're your age and they're selling their bodies so they can make money for a living. Because the world makes them think that that's the way. You guys, I'm at the end of my message. I'm gonna give an altar call. I'm gonna ask you, for those are struggling and are backsliding and kind of walked away from God, I'm gonna ask you to raise your hand if you want to come back to God. And if you think you're not good enough, Jesus spoke to a tax collector, the most hated person in all of Jerusalem. He spoke to them, and he told them two words. And he said, "Follow me." And that tax collector became one of his followers. Peter, a very prideful, man, he told them, "Follow me." So when I ask you guys, for those who let's say, I know when some of you guys are new, maybe you guys never accepted Jesus Christ in your heart. I'm not asking you to leave anything, but Jesus said, if you confess with your mouth and believe in your heart that I am Lord, then you shall be saved. And if you confess in front of man, then I shall not deny you. I butchered that. But you guys get what I'm trying to say. Yes, you guys might be shy and don't be like, oh, I want to be cool. But God is tugging at your hearts. I feel the way I met Francisco in that Uber was God, as a gift from God. So I could come here and talk to you guys. I'm around your age. And I went through stuff that a 35-year-old man would have went through. But I came here to talk to you so I could give you an invitation. So you guys could come to God. So you guys could feel that peace that I felt when I was a kid. So for those who never accepted Jesus Christ in their hearts and would like to do so now, or even those who backslid and started walking away from God, if you guys want to come back, it's not too late. It's not too late. It's never too late. So I'm going to ask you to raise your hand, and I'll lead you in this prayer if you guys want to accept Jesus Christ in your hearts today. Guys, I was your age. I've been there. I had to walk down an aisle of many, many people. I was scared. I cried. But I didn't do it for them. I did it for Him. I did it so I could join my grandma. I did it so I could join Jesus Christ in heaven with His open arms. Haven't you guys ever wondered what's going to happen after we die? I know some people don't like to think of it, but the question's there.